Welcome to Andy and Ari on 3. One thing about this new schedule, when there are press conferences that coaches do in the afternoon, sometimes we're coming fresh off it. Ari, we just heard Billy Napier talking at the podium at Florida. He's actually still talking as we're doing this, but I don't know. I feel like he buried the lead a little bit with his opening. So let's just show the opening. And then I want to get your reaction to that.
We have a handful of players that are going to be modified, that'll be limited early in camp. DJ Lagway, Tavares Dice, Pup Howard, Khalil Jackson, and Trayon Webb. All those players are a little bit modified here in our day-to-day as they're in return to play. So,
no, you're starting quarterback in a walking boot. That's what my reaction is. He's in a walking boot. Your starting quarterback who holds your job in his hands is in a walking boot. Am I like? I don't know what else to say.
No offense to Trayon Webb or to Pup Howard, but instead of listing all those guys, you might want to stop and clarify what's going. But yes, so Zach Alberti from Gators Online on 3's Florida site reported on Monday that DJ Lagway has been in a walking boot. He had a calf injury and could be limited as Florida opens practice. On its surface, not a huge deal. In a vacuum, not a huge deal. Combined with all the other little things with DJ Lagway this offseason in terms of little nagging injuries that cost him time throwing, time working with the receivers, it feels just like, okay, what the hell else? What fresh hell is coming for the Florida Gators? Because as you pointed out, you mentioned DJ Lagway holds Billy Napier's job in his hands. He holds a lot of people's job in his hands. If DJ Lagway is healthy, based on what we saw last season, we think Florida can be really good, like maybe even playoff good. But if for some reason DJ Lagway can't play in a lot of Florida's games, Florida's in trouble.
What's the nicest hotel in Gainesville?
My house.
Outside of your house. Hotel.
There's a nice Hilton. There's an AC now.
Go book a room at that Hilton. Wrap the dude in bubble wrap and lock him in there until the first game of the season. I don't even care if he practices.
Or the third game.
Yeah, whatever. Just like there's no reason for him to practice anymore. Like I'll say this. When I saw the walking boot thing yesterday, I was just like, oh God, like I was upset. And usually it's because walking boot injuries seem to be more serious than a calf strain. So from that aspect, Florida should probably feel pretty good that it's something minor. But I do have this feeling, and I don't want to put it out there as a don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby moment. It almost feels like, and I don't know if it's just a mental game, that injury with this guy's inevitable. It's unavoidable. And that's a really uncomfortable feeling to have if you're Florida right now. And I'm just going to
I think that's been the fear for the fan base all offseason is because you had the shoulder thing that kept him from throwing through most of spring. And you've had this thing. There's a lat thing. There've been just things, these little things, one thing after another, and they keep causing more delays or more situations where he can't be a full participant. And it's like, okay, at what point does this carry into the season? Now, last season, we saw him hurt his hamstring against Georgia. But then he missed the Texas game and he came back against LSU. So I don't want people to think that we're here questioning DJ Lagway's toughness, because I think if anybody watched the Florida LSU game last year, you have no doubts about his toughness. He was basically playing on one leg. His hamstring was still recovering from what happened against Georgia. He was very limited in terms of mobility, but he was tough.
It's not questioning.
He was out there playing.
Questioning durability. Those are two very different things. Toughness and durability.
Right. Durability is the question here.
Yeah. So I don't know. Florida gets him healthy. If you're winning games, by a large margin at the beginning of the year? Do you pull him a drive or two earlier than you would have otherwise? Like, do you have to treat him with like with white gloves? Treat him with care. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't want this guy. I really want Florida to at least work with all of its pieces at a healthy, like, because like that's also too. It's just like, how do you even judge Billy Napier on this season if he doesn't have his quarterback? You know, it's like, how do you even judge Brent Venables last year? It's like, that's not the team they created. He created the team with DJ Lagway, who's supposed to be one of the best quarterbacks in the country. You're going to fire him because his quarterback got hurt? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
But the thing is, it's all been building to this and all been building around the quarterback, and he's only really back because of DJ Lagway. So that's
should he have recruited as another all-world 5-star freak athlete that's supposed to take the world by storm that doesn't get hurt? Like, I mean, it's an unavoidable thing.
Now, here's the thing. I do think Florida is a better team outside of the quarterback position than it was at the beginning of last year. The beginning of last year, you saw them get pushed around by Miami. You saw them get pushed around up front by Texas A&M. By the end of the year, that offensive and defensive line unit, both of those were much, much better. You saw them against LSU and Ole Miss. They looked dominant. Like, the defense looked dominant against Ole Miss. And so, like, they can still win games, but if they want to beat the best teams on their schedule, and by the way, there's a lot of best teams on their schedule. There's a lot of really good teams on their schedule. They have to have DJ Lagway.
Florida goes 6-6 against the schedule, and DJ Lagway misses 7 games. Is he fired?
I think it depends on how you're feeling about DJ Lagway being back and healthy, but I think probably yes. I think at that point you really don't have a choice because he's been essentially 500 every year.
Yeah, I feel bad for him because I just want him to get a fair shake. That's all. Maybe I'm just.
I think he's gotten a fair shake. He's getting 4 years at an SEC program. That's a fair shake. You need to have a deep enough team to succeed at some point in 4 years. The thing is, he doesn't have, like, Venables had a 10-win season in year 2 at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Billy Napier does not have that to fall back on. They've just never been good under him. They're supposed to be good now. If they have DJ Lagway, I bet they are good.
Can I ask an out-of-the-box question that might not make any sense and might
sure?
Should Florida have taken a portal quarterback?
They did. Harrison Bailey.
How do we feel he can play?
We are not sure that he's even the backup right now. Aiden Warner finished spring as the backup. So Aiden Warner was the one who came in.
Question.
Yeah.
Should Florida have brought in a transfer that could play?
Like a Jake Retzlaff type transfer?
I don't know if somebody that good.
I don't think a transfer like that would have gone within.
That's what I'm saying.
500 miles of Gainesville because of DJ Lagway.
The best possible player that you could get that could also play. Because like last year when they played Texas, it was like watching a different sport. Like they didn't know.
That was Aiden Warner. Yes, he was the one who replaced DJ Lagway in the Georgia game and then started against Texas.
If he's the backup, good for him. But like I would feel more comfortable for Florida to be able to run a functional offensive game plan with a quarterback of some sort if DJ Lagway were to get hurt. That's all. I don't know. And I don't know, like in the portal era, if it's possible to get a functional quarterback who's willingly coming into a situation to be a backup. But
Producer River asked, would like a Steve Angeli work? Steve Angeli was Riley Leonard's backup at Notre Dame last year.
He probably wouldn't have gone.
He left and went to Syracuse. Yeah. No, he would not have come to Florida. He went to Syracuse because he can win the starting job. The thing about the Florida situation is no transfer quarterback who you'd view as starter quality was going to touch Florida with a 10-foot pole because DJ Lagway is the starter as long as he's healthy. Like, there's no question about that.
Yeah. Maybe a younger guy who, like Dante Moorish. I don't know if that exists. I don't know.
This is the new thing. I mean, this is what we talked about. Remember, we had the mailbag question last week where somebody asked, "What's the best quarterback depth in the country?" And we're like, we don't know.
Yeah. The hope is
because
obviously that
it's a bunch of freshmen. Like your best potential option if you have a quarterback who doesn't work out might be a freshman who you didn't plan to play. Like for Florida's Tramel Jones Jr., but they took Tramel Jones Jr. thinking this is not a guy who's going to be ready to play.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, you've got DJ Lagway, so he's not going to need to. and you can work on him and develop him.
So it is unreasonable in 2025 to expect to have a backup quarterback who can kind of play.
I think you're very blessed if you have one. Very blessed indeed.
Who can kind of play.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Billy Napier got the follow-up question that, of course, we immediately asked. Here's how he answered that.
DJ, what's the concern level for him, and how much do you think he's going to be able to do in these?
Yeah, I think he'll be. I mean, again, he's day to day. The good thing is that I think we're about a week removed. So in general, he's made a lot of quick progress, but it will be something that we're monitoring, and hopefully, as we go, his ability to participate in practice will be a little bit more each opportunity that we get going forward.
Well, yeah, you hope. I mean, that's all it is now. It's just wait and hope, and they're going to play him in games. Maybe not so much the first 2 games because they don't really need him that much. And we're going to see. Because the thing about this is these have all been kind of nagging little things, and the idea has been get through them so that he's healthy enough for the season. Maybe he does just get through the season. Maybe it doesn't stop him. But the fact that it always seems like there's something else is why you're concerned, is why the Florida fans have been freaking out basically all offseason.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. There hasn't been a 3-month period since the season last year where he's been just healthy, right? So, I mean, it's a fair concern, and like we were voicing concerns about his durability before this happened. Again, you're blessed and excited that this isn't a major thing, but minor things over and over again might as well be a major thing. You want him to be healthy, you want him to practice, you want him to play. So we'll obviously keep monitoring it. I don't know what else there is to say about it, but like it's just a rough situation.
Well, yeah, and look, the thing is, DJ Lagway has this massive skill set. I know there's people who think it's just a hype thing. Go back and watch the LSU and Ole Miss games from last year. This is a special quarterback. If he can stay healthy and put together full seasons, this is going to be a very high draft pick. This will, DJ Lagway will be a top 5, top 10 type NFL draft pick. And yeah, I know Anthony Richardson was too, but DJ Lagway is already much further along as a quarterback, as a thrower of the football than Anthony Richardson ever was. I mean, DJ Lagway is a better quarterback now than Anthony Richardson is as an Indianapolis Colt. So that part is not in doubt. The durability is the question, and the durability is what can kill him in the draft too. So, like, if you think, they're just trying to get to the draft, I don't think so, because they gotta play some football before they get to the draft.
I just don't want everybody who's like, "Oh, you're hyping up DJ Lagway all offseason to be right because of injury."
Right. I don't care if it makes us wrong on the hyping of DJ Lagway. I know he's very talented. If he's hurt, it's bad luck. But it'd just be, for Billy Napier, be awful, because this is a guy, I think, who thought he'd finally rounded the corner. He built the team he wanted to build. He took a chance on taking a lot of high school guys, not using the transfer portal very much, trying to retain as much as he could. And it's probably what saved him last year, because those guys didn't quit on him. But it doesn't work unless number 2 can play.
We're going to have this out on Tuesday. Wednesday morning on 3, I have a story coming out, or a column of ranking the hot seat from 1 to 8, the hottest to coolest of the hot seats, and Napier is number 1.
Well, especially now. I mean, every time one of these things pops up. And look, they're trying everything. A few months ago, they brought in, Florida basketball has a walk-on player named Olivier Roux. He's Canadian. He's 7'9". He's the world's tallest teenager. And they tried him out as a field goal blocker. Apparently it did not work out. He is now fully back to basketball. Todd Golden actually thinks there might be a role for him on the returning national champion basketball team.
6'9"?
7'9".
7'9". Sorry. Wait a minute.
His vert's not great.
Is he legitimately the tallest person, or did you just say that?
I believe he's the tallest person under 20 in the world.
those people typically have a hard time staying healthy on the basketball court. I can't imagine him getting roughed up a little bit out there.
His post moves are looking a little better. We'll see. I don't foresee him being a starter on the basketball team, but Florida's trying everything in football. We'll see what happens, but obviously we will be watching DJ Lagway throughout camp to see how healthy is he. Will he be ready for the season? Will he be fully 100% when the season starts? The question is very valid. And if he's not, then it becomes a huge question for Billy Napier and his future. So watch it going forward. But that's not the only drama happening in the SEC. Ari, let's go north to Knoxville. Elsewhere in the SEC, Ari, we got to talk Tennessee. You have these stories that come out in the offseason, sort of bubble up through the message boards, and sometimes they never escape the message boards, but this one reached escape velocity, I would say, over the weekend, the Boo Carter situation. Boo Carter, sophomore DB at Tennessee, had a very good freshman year. They're expecting big things from him this year. That there was, they wanted to use him both ways. There was a package for him on offense that they were working for in the spring. He returns kicks. So this is a pretty important player, but there was a lot of talk, a lot of chatter over the last few weeks about what his status was with Tennessee's football team.
Yeah, he's still on the team, I guess. Like, what's going on here?
Well, Josh Heupel talked on Tuesday and gave an update.
I know at some point I'm going to get a question about Boo, so I'm going to address that right now. Boo is a part of our team here. There's some things that he's got to accomplish to get back on the field with us. Don't have a set timeline on that. Our leadership council has been a part of those things, those discussions with me and with Boo. I'm proud of what they've done. They care and love Boo, and want him to be his best too, and through this, I think Boo sees that as well. And at the end of the day, us collectively continuing to grow here through the course of training camp. I will be the one that will take questions on Boo, and that's today, and here throughout the beginning part of training camp as well. But proud of how our team has handled those things, and ultimately we'll handle those things internally. I'm not going to get into details on everything. So excited to roll. You guys are going to get a chance to hear from some of our staff and players today, but everybody in the building's ready to go for tomorrow.
But don't ask them about Boo Carter. Only ask me about Boo Carter.
So this is a piece of good news for Tennessee fans, right? Because this is
yes,
losing your best defensive back who's young and got a ton would be
their best defensive back is Jermod McCoy. There's another piece of news about him. We'll get to that in a second. But
yeah. After what they went through with Nico, I don't think losing good players is something that I would have like a stomach for if I were a Tennessee fan.
Definitely not. And so here's the situation with Boo Carter. Rumors of not coming to workouts, which, they used to be quote unquote voluntary workouts in the summer because they had to pretend that these guys weren't required to be there. They're not pretending anymore because they pay them now. So you're supposed to be there. And so that's been an issue. And it's generally been, not a great situation. Boo Carter just hired a new agent. He is, if you followed the NBA draft at all this year, Ari, do you remember Ace Bailey, the guy who played at Rutgers?
I do.
He wouldn't work out for any teams. So Ace Bailey is a long time, way back, since they were 3 or 4 years old, friend of Boo Carter's. Boo Carter has hired Ace Bailey's agent. So the pristine advice that Ace Bailey got during the draft process, where he didn't work out for any teams, and it wound up getting him picked by Utah, where he didn't want to go. Maybe that's the advice we're dealing with at this point.
Yeah, the not working out thing is certainly a play. It's a bold strategy, Cotton.
See how it works out for him.
But the reason why I said Boo Carter was the best defensive back on Tennessee's team is because McCoy obviously has some injury concern, right? And I
he
don't
tore his
know,
ACL in January. Yes,
I don't know if Tennessee would be in the best possible place in terms of talent. They got a really good defense, man, and their secondary, I think, is the thin part, right? Losing him would be a pretty big blow.
Yeah, and the thing is, you had plans for Boo Carter, and so you want all of that to work out. And I think Tennessee people, they've been through enough this offseason in terms of things not working out. So
it is like a good thought exercise, and this is not new to college football now. Obviously, money changes things a little bit, but if you have somebody who has shortcomings or does things that are not coming to an off-season workout, what is the way to handle it as a coach? Do you love them? Do you bring them in? Do you keep them while also benefiting from their presence? Do you have a no tolerance policy and allow them to go or force them out because you want to set an example that no one's above the team? It's always a very interesting dynamic of how is Josh Heupel and like what did Tennessee fans want? They want to keep the good player, right?
Well, yes, and I think how you handle it depends on your leverage. Like Nick Saban back in the day when they were 47 deep at every position, he just kicked the guy off the team. Didn't matter.
And Tennessee has not a lot of leverage in this scenario, no?
Not a ton, because they do need good players. So after Heupel made that initial announcement, our guy Brent Hubbs from VolQuest asked a follow-up question.
Josh, how much dialogue over this month have you had with Boo, and kind of what's your policy with players not being around for, quote, summer volunteer workouts? Do you have a set policy on if they go work out with their trainer or somebody else? How does that work?
Yeah, and end of the day, it's a requirement to be here, be a part of what we're doing. There's a lot of information out in the world. Some of it's correct, some of it's not. I'm not going to address everything. Over the last week, we're disappointed with how some things were handled. At the end of the day, you have a conversation. What does it look like moving forward? And that's all parties. That's our leadership council, Boo, and our staff. And so it's not about what yesterday was. It's about today, and we'll see as we continue to progress where that leads us.
Translation: he's still in the doghouse. He's not guaranteed to be on the field. There may be some disciplinary action yet to come. We'll see. Tennessee opens with Syracuse in Atlanta, so it's not like they just have a team they can absolutely roll over to start with. Like they're going to have to try to win this game.
Can I try to translate that?
Yeah.
He's still on the team. He's got some disciplinary action to work through. We need him. He'll be on the field against Syracuse.
Oh, okay. That's it. You think it'll be on the field against Syracuse?
Okay. I don't know. What do you think? I think
you're probably right about that.
Yeah.
Because it's what we were talking about, where you're limited by your own leverage, and I don't think Josh Heupel has a ton of leverage. Although there's one other way to look at this, and the other way you can look at this, and I'd be curious to hear how Tennessee fans feel about this, because it's kind of an admission of sorts if you decide to go this direction, and I don't think they're going this direction based on what Josh Heupel has said. So you could say, well, we don't know how this year's going to go anyway. The whole Nico thing threw us for a loop. We're not sure how good we're going to be, but I can set a tone here. And this is the one year where they're going to forgive me if we're not great. So if we're 7-5 or 8-4, I can just blame all that on Nico.
Yeah.
So if I want to set a tone and kick somebody off the team, now's the time.
Yeah, the balance of power here is really interesting, because that on one hand is maybe the right way to think about it, or the other side of that coin, because there's always two sides, right? Is if I lose another good player and our defense is weak because of it, then this season completely bottoms out.
Right.
Because you don't want to be Oklahoma from last year either. I think there's a limit too of being forgive, right?
This is Tennessee's stronger side of the ball. Let's remember that. We don't know what their offense is going to be. But
the secondary, and correct me if I'm wrong, River, pop up here if you think I'm wrong, but their secondary is their number one concern on defense, right? I don't know. I think so.
If there's a weak link, that would be it, especially with McCoy's injury update and status and all that. So
Right, but they don't really have a lot of weaknesses on defense, and that's
if you had to choose the weak link.
But I want to keep River up here because this is a good person to ask, and we have a resident Tennessee fan on the show. But your question, Andy, was interesting because I want to tap into the Tennessee fan brain for a second because we had spent a lot of time talking about Nico and being bought into the team and loving Tennessee and how important it was to be a Vol for life. Okay. Boo Carter's behavior is not consistent with loving Tennessee and putting the team before yourself. Right. So is the fan base less likely to want to throw him some extra slack given what they already went through today, or are they in we need all the good players that we can get mode? I have a hard time reading a fan base. You tell me how you feel about it.
I think the general consensus is they know they need him on the team. They want him on the team. He will perform well, but they're kind of extending him an olive branch, I would say. It's like, okay, this happened. We don't really know what happened, but we're willing to forgive you if you produce this year and that. But, I mean, he's on thin ice. Tennessee fans will support him regardless as long as he's an orange, but
I think here's where Heupel has some grace. So he can stretch this out. He can say, hey, look, here are the conditions that you need to meet, and we'll get you on the field by the Syracuse game. If you do this and you're a good citizen and do everything we ask of you, then you're back in good standing. Everything's going to be fine. And then you can tack on. But if you screw up even a little bit, you're done, because they're not going to fire me if we go 6-6 this season.
I think it's more how he gels with the team. If the team wants him on, then that's it. If the team wants him, the fans want him.
Heupel made that clear that he went with the leadership committee, and there, if you watch the rest of the press conference, he got a question about how often he refers to the leadership committee, asked their input on things. And he basically said, I do, but not all the time. This is one where it seems like he's very explicitly asking for the players' input on this situation. And I think that's probably, in this case, if you feel like you got good, strong leadership, you kind of follow what they say.
Yeah, the question that I always have in situations like this is, if this was a second string or third string player, how would you act? And should you be on the, and should a coach act the same always, or do you side with the coach of they've got a job to do, they've got to win, and if you're better at football, you get more slack? How does that?
100%. If you're better at football, you get more slack. Every coach, if they're being honest, will tell you that. I remember Urban Meyer saying that straight up when he coached Florida.
Yeah,
different rule. The rules are different for different players because that's just human nature. And
are rules different for different players in the NFL too?
Yes. Yeah. That's more based on contract status. And no, in the NFL, if you can get out of their guaranteed money, you can enforce your rules. But if there's no way out of it, then you're going to have to give them more slack. I mean, look at Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
They're stuck. So,
and if Deshaun Watson was anybody else, he might not have even gotten the second chance to begin with, right? He might not have even gotten a contract to begin with. And we've seen, I mean, when you bring up the NFL, and that was my fault, you got to start going down a slippery slope. But we've seen people blackballed for the NFL for what I think is far less egregious than sexual assault. So, yeah.
And again, Boo Carter not accused of anything like that. So let's we're just trying to
I'm just trying to
explain the leverage of the situation. Here. But Boo Carter's not accused of anything like that. The stuff he's accused of is stuff that in the team dynamic does not go over well.
Yeah, but Boo Carter would land on for his transgressions. Boo Carter would have zero issue finding a new home if it came to that.
Yeah, somebody would pick him up. Yeah. 100%. So it's just a matter of, you're expected to be one of the better players on this team. You're expected to set some sort of example on this team. And so will you do that? And so we'll find out. And I think you're probably right, Ari. I think you translated Heupel correctly, that if all goes well, you're going to see him on the field against Syracuse. And that's probably what everybody in Knoxville would like to see happen.
There's two lanes here, Iron Fist and Grace. and grace is always a path back to the field quickly.
Right.
Iron
and
fist,
also,
yeah.
Ain't nobody got the roster to rule an iron fist anymore.
Yeah. I just feel like you can read a lot based on the coach's temperament, and it seemed like he was soft on.
Yeah.
And I don't mean like soft personally. I just mean like soft on the situation. Like he was.
Yeah, he's not taking a hard line on this. Yeah. It did sound like if a little more crap happens that he might have to, but he's not there yet. But part of this also could be elsewhere in the secondary. Josh Heupel gave an update on Jermod McCoy, their star cornerback.
As Jermod McCoy makes his way back, have you noticed that he's doing anything special or different to make up for the fact that he is limited coming back from that injury, and is there a timetable?
No timetable on him. There's benchmark things that he's got to accomplish within our training room to move on to the next phase of it. He's handled it really well, from the very beginning, just his mindset and how he's approached every single day. He's done a really good job throughout the course of the summer. Periodically you can see his drills, movement, explosive type drills that he's doing change, based on his rehab protocol, and he's handled it extremely well. And, as we go through training camp, there will be a progression. How his body responds to some of those things will kind of dictate the time period of when he's available for us.
So that's an ACL tear in January, and you're hoping for a comeback. And again, you don't want to put Jermod McCoy on the field too soon. You don't want to risk re-injury. That could be just devastating for the team and for him. So, if we're looking at Tennessee's schedule, Ari, I would imagine they would hope to have him back by Georgia at the earliest. Georgia is their week 3 game. But if they can't, I mean, you let him heal as long as you feel like he needs to, and then maybe you get him for the back half of the season.
Yeah, I mean, what's the benchmark recovery time for ACLs now? Isn't it 6 months?
No, it's
longer than that.
It's still longer than that. Very famously, Adrian Peterson came back from an ACL tear when he was in the NFL. I want to say in 6 to 7 months, but it's still 9 months to a year is usually what you're talking about. Now,
I thought that the ACL surgeries and the recovery of it has had some pretty big advancements the last few years.
It has. It used to be a career ender.
Yeah.
Or it used to be a year or two, minimum. It's not like that anymore, but there's still a fairly significant recovery time. So, this is one where I'm sure they're being as careful as humanly possible. So that's also probably feeding into whatever you do with Boo Carter, because obviously you're dealing with depth in the secondary, and not same position, but you're still dealing with depth in the secondary. So we will find out, Ari, what happens next with the Vols, but that is Josh Heupel in an interesting situation, and he keeps getting put in interesting situations this offseason. I'm sure he, more than anybody else, just wishes they could start playing games.
Yeah, I mean, he's done such a good job at Tennessee since he started, and I kind of feel like remorse for some of the shit that he's been dealt. I don't know. It's a tough situation, and Tennessee, felt like they're on the right track, and they just keep getting, some bad news. And
meanwhile, the line keeps moving toward Tennessee in that Syracuse-Tennessee game. I think they were 12.5-point favorites, and now 14.5-point favorites. So, look, if they can get through that,
3 scores,
East Tennessee State shouldn't be a problem. Then we'll see when the Bulldogs come to Neyland Stadium, September 13th, very early in the season.
Yeah, they probably wish they could swap the UAB game, right? And just do a little flipperoo and give them an extra week.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, getting Georgia as your first SEC game in week 3 isn't the best for easing along both injury and punishment if you're in that situation. So
no, but it's look, as the SEC schedules go, Tennessee has one of the more manageable ones, and
Tennessee could get to the Alabama game on October 18th. At 5-1, which I think is likely, right? Or at least should be the case. That
should be 5-1. It could be 6-0. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. If they're 6-0, then everything's great. But if they're 5-1, it's still that's where they need to be in order to salvage some of the terrible news that they've gotten over the offseason. And if we're not, I don't know what to think about Tennessee, because on one hand it's like, well, if this is a 7-5 team or a 6-6 team, it's like, well, if they're a 6-6 team, then they might have a hard time getting to 5-1.
Yeah. I don't think they get to 5-1 if they're going to be 6-6. I think they would lose to maybe Arkansas or Syracuse or I don't know about Mississippi State. But
their schedule is very, very manageable the first half.
Yeah, the back half is much harder than the front half.
Yeah.
So,
I see 7 wins just looking at it.
Yeah. But 7-5 wouldn't satisfy anybody coming off a playoff appearance. And that's the issue. That's what Josh Heupel's dealing with right now. But we will see. We moved from Tennessee to a team that should be better, that took a step back in 2024, but we knew they would because they lost $1 billion draft picks. Their coach left. A lot of the staff left. But Michigan was very promising at the end of last season. And I think a lot of the reason, Ari, was because they had a bunch of older leaders that kept that team together and said, hey, we get it. We can't throw the ball. That doesn't mean we're going to just lay down. And so that's how you saw that team beat Ohio State. That's how you saw that team beat Alabama in the bowl game. One of the guys that is critical to that leadership is Max Bredeson, one of the last fullbacks in the sport of college football. He didn't necessarily go there intending to be a fullback, but that's where he wound up. And Michigan is so lucky that he did. Ari, this is one of my favorite interviews we did at Big Ten Media Days.
Yeah. Very, very thick neck. You know, those people that have those necks where it's like, yeah, that guy's a linebacker. That guy's a fullback. Very bright kid, very tough kid. Super excited to see, what the next step in his career is, but he's certainly one of the most important pieces on a team that is quite the question mark.
Yeah. If you love football, these are the kind of players you really love because this is a guy who does not get a lot of the glory. So hopefully we can be the show that gives those people the glory because Max definitely deserves it. Let's talk to Max. We are here with Michigan fullback Max Bredeson. I got to tell you, I was watching your highlight reel from last year. About 3 minutes and 12 seconds in, something happened that almost made me throw up. You caught a pass. The rest of it is just you smashing people. It's incredible.
How do you what's more gratifying to you? Grinding someone's bones into the dirt or, being a reception guy?
It depends. Like a goal line touchdown, like blocking for one of those, there's nothing like that.
Yeah.
That feeling.
Do you know when I was playing organized football before high school, I was a left guard and, chubby kid, obviously. And somebody smacked the quarterback's arm as he was trying to throw it and the ball went up in the air and I caught it and ran for a 3-yard gain.
Please God, tell me there's a video of this.
And somebody chopped underneath me. It was like a 3-yard gain and I got up and celebrated like I won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And I got pulled out of the game because my coach is like, "What are you doing?" Thank you for
give your moment.
Yeah, I couldn't even. I was 3 yards in the rushing
and a cloud of dust. It's beautiful. All right, so I got to ask you because the one that stuck out to me last year is that last drive against USC. Is that the greatest drive of your life?
The greatest drive of my life. I think it was there's something about running a 2-minute drill, but running the ball only.
Exactly.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
At what point in that drive? And I realized you had the very long run.
Yeah.
But at what point are you like, are we going to do it like this?
When we hit the long run, I was like, all right, I guess just keep running it. Fine.
Because the long run is the one where you're in motion and you come across and you just smash the end guy in the line of scrimmage. Yeah. And that popped it open, obviously, as you popped open all the other ones on that drive as well. But what is that feeling like when you hit somebody, when you have a full head of steam and that person also has a full head of steam?
It's honestly the best feeling in the world because it's you see who's going to stop first. Like you can see it. Everyone, the first couple steps are fast, and if they turn it down at the last second.
Because that particular one, that long run in the USC drive, like you didn't knock him over.
No, that was a real collision.
Yes, yeah. But we both goes backward. Yeah.
So that's, I think what's interesting is that you are kind of like the personification of Michigan football to me.
Appreciate
which
that.
is
Thank you.
just a tough, grind it out, grit versus grit, you're going to win type of thing, but also Michigan's program identifier and how it seems to be evolving. Obviously, there's been a coaching change. We're going into 2 years of the Sharon Moore era, and we don't know what Michigan is going to be this year. Like, you do.
Yeah.
But like, is Michigan football going to be a team that runs it in a 2-minute drill again, or are they going to be a team that, like, in practice, do you get a sense that things have changed at all, or are you guys just going to do what you do best?
Yeah, we're going to do what we do best, but there's always going to be Michigan football. Like, with the Black M comes the physicality, comes the running the ball. So those will always be a thing. But at the end of the day, like, whatever's on the call sheet that we do best, we're going to call that. So,
basically, it was a Bryce Hunter.
Well, yeah, but I thought it was interesting because you did kind of salvage the year by doing what you did best last year. But now it feels like you kind of open things up while still, I mean, you know what you can do on the ground.
Yeah, definitely. You're able to take pieces of what happened last year and kind of be able to grab the good parts of like being able to move the ball like that. But at the end of the day, like there's two ways to move the ball, and you got to be able to do both.
The way the season ended, you beat Ohio State, you beat Alabama in the bowl game. How much confidence does that give you going into this year?
Yeah, it definitely gives you confidence. It shows with the young guys, the new guys who, like, they got to go kind of have their moment and see, like, show themselves, just prove themselves what they can do. But you have to be smart with that because you can't just take it and say everything's fine now. You have to remember what happened last year, but there is things to take, and we're going to use it the best way we can.
Yeah. So what's Bryce been like in practice, though? Like, I mean, everybody's excited.
Yeah.
We're excited. I'm sure you're excited. Talk of the town. Like, it
seems like that.
I mean, maybe it's annoying. I don't know. But it, is it exciting for you guys? And do you see some flashes of some great things there?
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of flashes. There's some throws you see. They're like, that's pretty impressive. As a former high school QB, I wish I could have made a couple of those. But, there's some very exciting things you see him do. And he, like, looks the part and throws the ball the same way.
Let's go back to the high school QB part, because when do you have to come to grips with, okay, that's not my forever position?
My senior year, like, I knew I was kind of gonna, like, play something else.
Yeah.
It's honestly kind of like full circle moment that, like, my friends and I always joked, like, I should play fullback. Looking at it now, it's kind of wild.
Because you had that attitude, right? That was always your attitude as a quarterback.
How many high school quarterbacks are grinded out fullbacks now? That's not the usual position change.
No,
some quarterback to linebacker, some safety. I don't see fullback very often.
Yeah. I think that's kind of a rare one, but I'm glad it went the way it did.
And that's the thing. I mean, the fullback barely exists. Most the service academies have them, obviously, but and you are, like, if we classified you, really, we'd call you a tight end for the most part, because you're lining up and
everywhere.
You're in motion. But when you are on the goal line, you're a straight up fullback.
Oh, yeah.
With 3-point stance behind the quarterback, what's that look like?
What's it look like?
Because there's like 7 offensive line.
It's a big wall in front of you.
Yeah.
You got to find out where you're going. You go there as fast as you possibly can.
Do you run the ball a lot with you in the video game?
I do. My speed is crazy in that game.
Well, at least Michigan has a real fullback dive play installed, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah. I mean, most
Max is running that.
Most of the teams don't have that in the book.
It's your first play. It's your first play.
31 dive. What is that?
That's the perfect way to start a drive. Is like a 7-yard gain up the middle, and the best way to cap the drive is a 1-yard run up the middle.
Bro, I'm just spamming dive until
if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Oh yeah. No, I'm hurry up dive guy. Actually, again, the USC drive, perfect 2-minute drill.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
The one thing that impressed me the most, Max, last year about what you guys did against Ohio State, what you guys did against Alabama, was things did not go Michigan's way coming off a national title for chunks of last year. I think that's a fair statement. But the culture is what we've heard over and over and over again about what's made Michigan so great. When you have a coaching change and somebody moving on from Jim Harbaugh is not an easy thing for most programs. Do you think Sharon Moore has, having been a part of that national championship run in a very critical way, is Michigan's culture, does it feel the same? Does it feel like it's healthy and that's still the cornerstone of what makes you guys do what you do?
Yes, that's like the blueprint of Michigan football is the culture. And culture is a thing everywhere. But that's what we take a lot of pride in. And it's kind of what the day in and day out looks like, because everybody can turn it on game day, but can you have that same energy, like, in the a third hour of a 3-hour banger and on hot turf. Like that's where it's really, that's what the culture is.
Well, and how did you older guys and Coach Moore? Because it'd be one thing if just Coach Harbaugh left.
Mhm.
Lots of other coaches left. Your strength coach left. How did you guys keep it the same? Because that's what I remember watching that Ohio State game. I was with him when we were watching it, and I'm like, they look like the same people from last year, even though obviously things are different.
Yeah.
How did you keep that same mentality and mindset?
Yeah. Coach Harbaugh is like one of the most special people in my life. Like, love Coach Harbaugh. Like all the coaches there, like those guys, like a call away. Those are some of the closest people I've ever met in my life. Same time, Coach Harbaugh and I have never taken a snap together. So it's whoever's in the field with us. Those are 11 guys that you have to play with.
How do you tell guys who are freshmen now, sophomores now, who when you're done, we're going to have to be the ones doing this? Do you actually have conversations about how they carry it on?
It's my favorite part. It's one of the most fun things I've done in my time here at Michigan is being able to like take what Michigan football is all about and just try and pass it on and like force feed Michigan football and like what it's about. Like, this is how we do it. And at the same time, not overstep, not be like, this is my way or this is how we did it. Like, there's going to be different ways to do things. Like, you have to.
Do young guys come in and be like, oh, yeah, whatever?
Yeah, that's like nature of like, that's how it is anywhere. Like, if you came from a high school being the best football player there, but like, it's how everyone was at some point in their career. I mean, I was the same way. Like, I thought I had it figured out when I was in high school, but at the same time, you just kind of slowly buy in more. Who
was it for you? What other players taught you how to be a leader?
Yeah. So I was a young coming as a freshman and like wasn't a guy, like I walked on, I wasn't expected to play, but like guys like Aiden Hutchinson and Josh Ross, like those guys are like cemented in my mind. Like, people don't know obviously Aiden Hutchinson, like number 2 pick, everyone knows. Yeah. Nobody has a clue about like how much Josh Ross has done for Michigan football. Like that type of leadership. Then the Blake Corums, Mike Sanders still, Ronnie Bell, like just watching them. And it may not be them like pulling me aside, talking to me, but like when you see what it's supposed to look like, you know it right away.
And then watching them be successful. A lot of those guys are NFL dudes right
Exactly.
now.
You see the way they come back in practice, like when they step on the field to like run routes with someone new, and you're like, you can tell, like just not even the skill, just the practice habit.
As a young walk-on, I'm sure there probably were some moments where you had to lead block on Aiden Hutchinson.
I do.
How's that go?
I have 2 snaps saved where I was like, holy, I came in at 217 pounds and like Ohio State week, I had to block him on like split zone, like coming back, like full speed, like you said, the full speed one. And like when you talk about a guy who's not slowing down those second 2 steps.
He's like, I don't know what the tempo is.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of crazy to think that like there are people, and not just in this position, but like there are walk-ons who are like, yeah, just go block the first round defensive end.
I wouldn't know anything about that, Ari.
He was awesome. A walk-on too, and he had to go block.
I was a 240-pound offensive lineman walk-on in Florida, so same deal. There's Jermod Curse. Go hit him.
Yeah. Okay. But he's the podcaster now because he's not as good as
exactly
you.
why I'm a podcaster. So.
No, it's like that. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the thing. When you mentioned Aiden, and I was thinking, okay, doing the math, like, oh, he was on scout team with Aiden.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be.
Yep.
There were some moments you questioned your life choices.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
could you imagine being a walk-on offensive lineman at Georgia during their heyday of like defensive tackles?
No.
Like, what are they even doing?
I actually sat next to one of their walk-on linemen on a plane out to one of those national title games, who was not on the travel squad, and it tells you how different the world is now. Like, I never would have made any of these teams now. This guy was like 6'6", 310. And I'm sure Jordan Davis like threw him everywhere. I threw him like a ragdoll.
Honestly, have covered a lot of high stakes like playoff games, and you hear reporters ask players like, "So who's going to be so and so? Which walk on is going to play that guy in practice?" And like I think to myself, and I just don't get like how they even what's the point of doing that? Like those people do things that.
Well, sometimes they make bad choices, Ari, because I had to play Alan Faneca.
That's what I'm saying.
For an entire week of practice, and he's in the Hall of Fame.
The best defensive
and that was a bad idea for them.
Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah.
Of the past 5 years, and which walk-on has to go try to be him in practice?
But that's the thing. Like, you survive that. You realize you can play. You realize that hey, I belong here. When did you realize I belong? I'm going to be able to do this.
That first camp was hard. Like that at that moment, it was like, wow, this is a different type of football. But that spring ball, because throughout the season, I got reps. Like Michigan does a great job of getting the young guys reps.
Yeah.
Kind of building it over time. And that spring ball, I was like, all right, like I know it now. And that spring ball, I was able to like go like kind of prove my name, go prove that I was willing
And the
to do
thing
it.
is that there's not a lot of guys like you who are willing to do pure dirty work. But it seems like you take pride in it.
Of course. I love doing it.
What is your favorite block ever?
Like a certain play?
Not a certain kind of play, just the result,
Like the moment.
What happened the moment?
There's nothing like the Rose Bowl block. That was all time. That feeling was like insane.
Take us through that.
13 personnel, Michigan football. Motion to left, like 1-2. Saw the edge. It was a safety fit in the edge. And I remember just because like off of defensive structure, I was like, all right, there's a lot of space here.
Yeah.
Because if there's like a safety fit in the edge, like it was Caleb Downs, so like he's fitting the edge. Like it's not like wasn't like Dallas Turner fitting on it just because of structure. I was like, all right, there's space here, guys. And all of a sudden I see I'm starting to run, like he's running upfield and pushing, and I see like Carson Barnhart's like on the linebacker. I'm like, oh, like we're out. And here comes Blake. I'm like, keep going. Cornelius Johnson is straining to like finish, like, and Blake jumps over somebody. We're in the end zone. I'm like looking up, like, oh, whoa.
A little walk on
that one. Yeah.
Wisconsin.
It was awesome.
Can you imagine? Like, if you went back to your 12-year-old, 13-year-old self and describe that moment, would you even believe it was possible?
Tell you damn right.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Well, Max, I can't thank you enough. That was incredible.
Appreciate
and
you being
can't
here,
wait
man.
to see you.
Yeah,
We'll smash some more
this year,
people.
yeah.
We'll do.
Stop catching passes.
All right, I'm on it.
That is Max Bredeson. I love what he said about that drive against USC. So we're not throwing here. We're just not going to throw.
I am still quite amused that they were able to run the 2-minute drill without throwing. And I think there was still like 40 seconds left when they scored too, right? Like it wasn't like
it was an amazing drive. and so we took you through a couple of the plays. Max actually put a guy on his ass on the touchdown.
Was that the lowest
Just
point
crushed
of the USC debacle the last few years?
That was the word. It's hard.
I know we're talking about Michigan here, but that I mean, if you give up a 2-minute drill and just get the ball run down your throat like that is just like a complete.
I think that's the most emblematic. Like if we were looking for the biggest caricature moment, that would be it. But obviously, the Minnesota game and the Maryland game probably infuriated USC fans as much. But for Michigan, I feel like that was the moment they realized, wait, this isn't just some lost season where we're trying to reset after Jim Harbaugh left and we don't have a quarterback. That's where they realize, you know what? Screw it. We can't throw. Doesn't mean we can't win.
They won some big games there at the end.
Yeah.
So I think it depends on who you ask. And we've spoken so much about Michigan and how much is uncertain about their season. It is kind of funny to me that there are people out there that are like, yeah, this is a 6-6 team. And you have some people who say they're a 10-win playoff pretender type team. And I don't know where I'm at with it.
Well, they were 7-5 and beat Ohio State with zero quarterback play, essentially, with the quarterback essentially actively working against them. So as Taylor Lewan, Michigan grad, put it on his show, Bussin' with the Boys, they played the whole season with passing turned off. Passing will be turned on with Bryce Underwood.
Yeah.
He has a good arm. He's a freshman. He might make mistakes, but he's still going to be better than what they put out there last year. So anybody who thinks this team's going to go 6-6 is insane. This team's going to be good. It's just a matter of how good.
Yeah. Yeah, insane. I think they're insane.
Yes. You think Michigan might go 6-6?
No, I don't think they'll go 6-6, but I don't think that it's insane to think that they're a 7.
You think they'll go 7-5?
Put up their schedule, River. Let's go through this.
Yeah, let's play the schedule game.
Yeah.
New Mexico's a win. OU, we don't know. Central Michigan's a win. Nebraska, we don't know. At Nebraska
is not happening, but
we believe Sharon Morse is going to be suspended for the Nebraska game.
But let's play worst case scenario here, and this isn't a prediction. This is a worst case scenario. They could lose
case scenario
to Oklahoma, Nebraska, South USC, Washington, and Ohio State this year.
7-5. That is the absolute worst case scenario.
Yeah,
they're going to win. So. They're going to win 9 or 10 games. Ari, I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, because they're not going to go 0-5 in all their 5 good big games. I don't think.
Nope. And if they go 2-5 in those games, they're probably 9-3.
Yeah, I think 9-3, 8-4 ish would be a reasonable thought.
I don't think 8-4 is even reasonable.
Yeah,
unless they take a serious step back defensively, which I don't think they're going to.
See,
by the way, Rayshawn Benny is the most fun name to say in college football this year. Like, just say it, Rayshawn Benny. Rayshawn Benny just makes you happy.
Benny. Yeah, they have a really good defense and a good culture. They're tough. They play Michigan football. They don't have their 2 best interior defensive linemen anymore.
They don't, but they have Rayshawn Benny, and they're going to have a good defensive line.
Yeah,
losing Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant, I'm not going to soft pedal that. Like that is a lot to lose. But Michigan's been really good up front. I mean, they lost Mozzie Smith, and here come Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant. Like they have been able to replace people in those positions fairly well over the last few years.
My number one concern for them isn't their defense, so I didn't want to play that game. My number one concern for them is that Bryce Underwood's a freshman. He's not necessarily as great out of the gate as people are anticipating, and he has nobody to throw the ball to, and that passing could still be semi-turned off this year.
It might be. I do worry about their receivers, but they always have good tight ends. They can throw to the backs. Do I think they're going to be elite offensively? No. If they are, then they're a national title contender, and we're having a totally different discussion. But I think they will be capable offensively, and that is a significant upgrade over last year.
And a tough out no matter what. Even in the worst case scenario plays out, they'll still not be an easy team to beat. Because I think a lot of their characteristics that made them so good the last 3 years are very translatable through culture, which is what we talked about with Max there. So, but I'm very intrigued by them, and very intrigued, especially at the Oklahoma game, because I think we're going to get some answers there.
Oh boy,
September 6th about both of these teams, because Oklahoma is like the other side of the same type of coin a little bit.
Oklahoma's biggest question is their offensive line. How can they hold up? And Michigan's defensive line is every bit as tough as the ones that Oklahoma's going to see in the SEC. So we'll have a very good idea of how good that group is when they play Michigan.
Yeah. Michigan's breaking in a new offense. Oklahoma's breaking in a new offense, and both teams have to play really good defenses. I don't know what the over-under of that game is going to be, but it might be a defensive battle. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to go up for it.
Well, as much as we like the SEC and the Big Ten and all their big budgets and their big stadiums, we need to embrace all of college football. And so this was unearthed. Jefferson Donovan, who is actually a morning meteorologist for a TV station in Washington State, but also clearly a big college football fan, unearthed this in a comment on a YouTube video. I don't think it's one of our YouTube videos. I wish it was. But T King 701. T King 701 is a poet, Ari. This is what T King wrote. Congrats on your 5-star recruits and $100 million facilities, SEC fans. Meanwhile, the MAC is out here playing real football in front of 14 people in a raccoon on a Tuesday night during a blizzard. You've ever seen a punter throw a touchdown to a long snapper while the scoreboard's on fire? Didn't think so. While y'all are busy arguing over which frat-funded dynasty is slightly less fraudulent, Toledo's cooking up a triple reverse flea flicker in a game that ends 43-42 after 6 missed PATs and a goalpost gets stolen. That's not football. That's Maction. You wouldn't survive 1 quarter in Ypsilanti.
I will
take
say
a hammer and a chisel and chisel that on the wall at MAC headquarters, please.
I will say that as a avid gambler on these games, that there's nothing more entertaining than like a Wednesday night when there's nothing else going on and there's a blizzard and it's cold outside. Your wife's got some chili on the pot there, and you're just, you're hitting the over of the NIU Bowling Green game and it's 68 points. And it's just like, you're fired up. Like, you know what I mean?
The best is when there's two action games going on simultaneously and one's in a blizzard and the blizzard is coming because that they're not, the stadiums are only like 50 miles apart. So, the blizzard's going to hit in the third quarter of the other game. Like, it's just incredible.
I mean, if you are a person, and I think probably a lot of people who listen to the show are, that will turn on the action game and enjoy it for what it is. And I heard that a lot in the Happy Gilmore 2 discourse. Just enjoy it for what it is. Like, there's nothing to enjoy for what it is more than action.
It's beautiful. It really is. And the idea, and this gets me excited thinking about this anyway, that we have 7 days a week of football for about a month, basically between late October and Thanksgiving. It just makes me so happy.
Mm-hmm. My wife hates
the idea that you can, every day you come home, there will be football on your TV that night.
I'm starting to feel the breeze in the air. That's all. I'm starting to feel the breeze.
I'm not. I'm in Florida. It's 100 degrees with 1,000,000,000% humidity. The heat index is like 111. A snake fried itself on the capacitor of my AC unit, causing my AC unit to break.
If
there's the skin of said snake. I don't think the snake's still alive. It did not. This. You want to know how Florida man I am, Ari? This is the second time I have had an air conditioner just disabled because a snake crawled up in there and tried to kill itself.
Is that your hand?
That is my hand, yes.
Yeah, that's how I know you're a Florida man. I wouldn't touch that.
It's a skin. Years. He's gone. He's not even in there.
Disgusting.
Also, that's just a little black racer based on that skin. Like, I know exactly which snake that is. And I hope he's still alive. Like, the last one that crawled up in there was a baby that fried itself on the control board. And we found the snake's whole body in there. This one, there was no body. So I'm hoping that he made it out alive. I'm not confident though, because I saw what the old capacitor looked like, and I don't think he survived.
We saw a cockroach in our house a few weeks ago. My wife asked me, wasn't a joke at all, if we should put the house up for sale. So
she wouldn't make it in Florida.
No, she
even the most beautiful houses with the greatest pest control in the world have the occasional cockroach.
Yeah, didn't know how to manage that. But the pest guy was, that pest guy that we put on the show is like my guy. I've got his phone number in my phone now, and whenever I need him, I just text him directly. He's here in 20 minutes, and he gets paid and does. It's great American commerce.
Shout out to Comfort Temp in North Central Florida. They know what to do. Like the guy came in and he's pushing some buttons on the console. He goes up and looks at the air handler, spends about 10 minutes with that. And he's like, not seeing it. Walks outside, knock on the door. Did you go outside and look at your unit? Like, no, I didn't. He's like, there's your problem right here. And holds up the snake skin.
So what do you have to do? Go back in and just get the snake out, and then it was fine, or was it a major repair?
The snake was already gone. I think the snake probably got shocked and either slithered away and died or whatever. But it caused the capacitor to burn up, so they had to put a new capacitor in. It was fixed within 5 minutes.
That's electric, literally. Also, just got a notification that Pamela Anderson and Liam Neeson are dating because they're smitten. I don't know if that matters to you or not, but I think that's an interesting couple.
I'm not talking about this.
Oh no, Jordan, we are talking about this now. I had no idea. I just want to go back to college, Andy, and just tell him this is going to happen. And I don't know what I think.
Yeah, no, it's
because at that point, Liam Neeson's a badass coming off Rob Roy. He's about to be in Taken. Like, I can kind of see it.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you think he and Tommy Lee have a lot in common, or?
One thing possibly.
Yeah, well, I hope for him. Not me and you, bud. Maybe him.
That's the show, everybody. We'll talk to you on Wednesday.